His Excellency President Mohamed Irfaan Ali, Prime Minister Mark Phillips, Minister of Public Affairs Kwame McCoy, Ministers of Government and other officials, past presidents of the Guyana Press Association, executive of the Guyana Press Association, senior members of the media, colleagues all, good morning. On behalf of the executive of the GPA, best wishes for the new year. It comes belatedly, but nonetheless from our hearts. The Guyana Press Association welcomes the continuation of this initiative aimed at fostering a better relationship with members of the media and the government. This meeting, albeit somewhat informal, comes at a time when media houses, like the rest of the world, continues to fight the battle to survive a pandemic. It has been a trying few months for members of the media here in Guyana. Most of us date back our election coverage to December 2018. That coverage will continue over the years and months into covering court cases, an election campaign, a 5-month-long election, and a transition to a new government. The latter two were while trying to maintain our safety and sanity during a pandemic. I know the task has not been easy. The pandemic has challenged the media in more ways than one. In 2020, at a similar function, I raised how the evolving press brings with it many challenges. Notably, in this instance, the pandemic has exposed media houses to financial instability, salary cuts, and even resignations and retirement. Mr. President, in my remarks then, I spoke of our economic viability being threatened. Media houses all around the world are making changes as they are faced with shrinking revenue bases. At home, it is no different. The viability of news media organizations requires conditions that make it possible for us to earn and manage resources that keeps us active. The advertising pie, of which most of us depend on, continues to shrink, threatening the existence of true and independent media in our growing democracy. And with the pandemic, that pie has virtually disappeared. Few of us have managed to diversify, to ride the wave of those changes. Even in the pandemic, for some of us, we've missed the tide. In 2020, I pointed out that while solutions may lie in implementing better business models, we implore advertisers, state and private, to consider what a true independent media can mean for this country. Due to lingering adverse impact of the pandemic on revenues due to the diminished advertising and sponsorship, the Guyana Press Association publicly endorses a request by the Guyana United Broadcasters to the Broadcasting Authority, the Telecommunications Agency, and the Government of Guyana for a waiver of all fees, license fees. We urge the Prime Minister and the President to favorably consider this, having the law amended temporarily to facilitate such a waiver. In the context of the grave financial impact of COVID-19 on media houses, especially radio and television stations, the GPA calls for an even playing field in the allocation of state ads to accredited and recognized media houses, online, television, radio, and newspaper. Media houses are not the same as social media commentators. We have different duties and ethics and provide a service unmatched. Further, no administration must be seen as funneling taxpayers' dollars to media spotters who do nothing more than diminish the quality of media and, by extension, under-educate and under-inform the public to the long-term detriment of holistic growth and development of the society. Guyana is party to the Sustainable Development Goals, but none of them is achievable without a properly informed and educated nation. While addressing the issue of disinformation in 2020, we pointed out the media's role has been to provide impartial and factual information on any event we report on. Our roles are much different than that of social media commentators. We are to provide factual, unbiased information to our readers and audience. This means we have to put our fact-checking journalism skills to use, ask questions, clarify, research, ensure there is a right of reply, and provide that balance. Mr. President, the media have shown over the decades it understands its role. There has been some challenges, no doubt, but we understand what needs to be done, and we've applied ourselves as we try to adapt. With that said, the GPA calls for more frequent engagement with the press. The press briefings by yourself and key government ministers is not just about engaging the media, it's about informing the public on critical issues. I want to use this time to call for the return of the post-cabinet press briefings, which provided the country with a needed update on our internal affairs. We also want to encourage the health officials to have more frequent interaction with the media so we can raise awareness about the pandemic that continue to affect the lives of Guyanese. Further, the GPA urges your administration to ensure that there is greater awareness about the roles and functions of the Commission of Information. Though it may have been underutilized in the past, we say that this is a much needed mechanism in our emerging democracy. Mr. President, the Guyana Press Association is always aiming to set a high standard for the media in this country. This is the reason we ensure we have a rigid training schedule annually. While most of our training for this year has been held virtually, we've been able to touch on a number of key areas, like continued training on reporting on sexual offenses, understanding and reporting on our judicial system, and most recently, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we did a sensitization session on the Guyana-Venezuela border controversy. During our discussion with Minister McCoy in December, the GPA raised the need for the facilitation of key field trips for media and for us to understand what we are reporting on when we visit some of these out-of-town and border locations. Most of us remain Georgetown-based. For instance, many of us may not have traveled to regions 1, 7, or 9. In our correspondence to Minister McCoy last week, we seek the government and your intervention as Commander-in-Chief to facilitate the media's visit to some of the border locations. This, we believe, will provide the media with a better understanding of some of these locations we often report on. We hope that this request would be able to facilitate at least 4 field trips so all media houses would be able to have a chance to see and tell stories otherwise lost. As I did in previous years, I recommit the Guyana Press Association to the advocacy of free and independent press, rights of media workers. I encourage media workers to get involved in the Guyana Press Association. The Guyana Press Association is you. Take this opportunity to become involved in this proud body. Thank you.
It is my honor to be able to share a few moments with you this morning in a different setting. First of all, allow me to say to you that as President of Guyana, I am open to constructive criticism. I'm open to ideas, and I'm open to sharing of responsibility for the development and advancement of our country. Even in today's newspapers, I had a brief moment to review some of the editorials and so, and I have no difficulties with the views expressed. For a matter of fact, I believe that in a free and open society, every view has a value, and every view must be expressed freely. But in expressing those views, there comes responsibility also. And as Nazima said, the responsibility of ensuring there is balance, there is fairness, there is factual basis on which those views are expressed is important in maintaining that not only freedom, but that image that the press is unbiased. Since my assumption as president, I've had the opportunity to engage with almost all the media houses. I've had the opportunity to engage in different forms and formats. And my style is a bit different. My style is a very open, long-term style. You can approach me at an event, I'm ready to take your questions. I do not confine myself to a style that occurs on a given day, on a given day. I am open every day. I'm open every day to respond to questions in relation to the development of Guyana. And I want to assure Nazima that the traditional cabinet briefings, definitely, those briefings will be held. We are operating in a kind of different environment. Cabinet itself is not held in person. We do cabinet on Zoom. Most cabinets meetings are done at 6 in the morning, sometimes 5 in the morning, because the days are getting longer for us. There's a lot of work that we would have started. But important to us all is Guyana. All of us are concerned about Guyana. And whilst we exercise the freedom we have, it is important that we identify a few key areas that is important to Guyana and Guyanese, in which all of us must find a common ground in promoting, and the media plays an extremely critical role in these areas. National unity. How do we together build a platform that erase the level of hate sometimes that we see on social media, that all of us speak out against, so we all have a common agenda against those who try to divide our society, those who try to push hate in our society? How do we sit together? And this is something I would want to engage you on, and develop a strategy that deals with national unity, the important issues, domestic violence, engagement of the diaspora, suicide. These are all critical areas that we can work on and find a common agenda on which we can build a national strategy in which the government and the media can work together in helping a national cause. And I think these are areas that can also help us to build trust. It is important that we build trust among each other also. And we have to deal with things realistically. Sometimes, for no reason at all, there is mistrust among us. We have to build that level of trust and confidence among each other in sharing information and in understanding that at the end of the day, we all have a common agenda of moving our country forward. And I agree with you that the government has to play a greater role in getting information out there, in involving you, in understanding the information in a very practical way, ensuring that the media is engaged not only from a desk, but from where development actually takes place. And these are things that I will support. Because it is important that the media understands where the country is going, the development shift that is taking place. It is my considered view that things will change drastically in our country. We have a private sector that is not accustomed to spending money on research and development, spending money on marketing, spending money on advertisement. Historically, if you look at the budget in private sector, there is very little resources under these heads. But the environment in Guyana will become so competitive because of what is taking place, that more and more resources will have to be placed under these heads. That of course will bring greater revenue for the media, for media owners, and I hope that transcends to better benefits for the workers. I want to also say to you that in our scholarship program, we are setting aside specific areas of specialization in mass communication, journalism, marketing, that will be available for reporters and personnel in the media industry. A big component of the program moving forward incorporates these areas that I think are critical in moving our country forward. Before closing, I must take this opportunity to thank the media. With very limited resources and with long hours, the media did an exceptional job in securing democracy for Guyana. Some of the work that was done, the documentaries, in my view, are of international standard. And it is because of the vigilance of the media, the steadfastness of the media, and to a large extent, the independence and balance in the media that allowed us as a country and as a people to ride out that period successfully. I want to assure you that I'm ready, the cabinet is ready, we are open to engage and work together with you in creating an environment that will build a stronger, more secure and unified Guyana. Thank you very much.